It's the last day of Master Duel Season 18. As you can see from these missions, only one day left before they reset. Unfortunately, I just didn't have the time to commit to the ranked mode with the introduction of Master Rank. I didn't feel comfortable playing only in the last week that I could grind through both Platinum, Diamond, and all of Master to get to Master 1. So as you can see from my match history though, like we started playing last week, we grinded through Platinum rank, and our win rate is 90% in our last 20 matches. So we've been absolutely dominating Diamond rank so far. And in the final day, we're going to see if we can grind our way into Diamond 1 and then just wait to get reset down into Platinum and just grind through all those gems. With a full month under our belts, we should be able to get there. And I know some of you on my videos have been asking, well, what is the new deck list going to look like for FLOOWANDEREEZE? Are you still going to play it? What's going to happen? And I will say that I will plan to update this deck list and share it. It might be something as simple as remove an Empen, put in a Snowl, which I said in the previous video is not the greatest, but that might be what we have to work with until we see how the meta shapes up. But aside from that, you know, stay tuned for a further analysis video and an updated deck list, as well as updates as to what else might be good for the meta. I think Sprite's going to still be very good. I think Labyrinth is going to be pretty top tier with its new support. And yeah, we'll see what happens from there. So anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at some of these matches and see if we can finally hit Diamond 1 for Season 18. So this first match we're going to go over here was actually my final match to get into Diamond 1. It was pretty easy. Overall, not too bad of a climb, obviously. And the game kind of just gifted me Diamond 1 at this point. Letting me go first with a hand like this, absolutely incredible. But what I want to talk about in this particular matchup is the impact of Empen going to 1 basically tomorrow. Or today, depending on when you're watching this. But yeah, June 30th, for the new season, the ban list is going to be taking effect. And it is very significant. It does hurt the deck quite a bit. And one of the main reasons is because it hurts your follow-up during your opponent's turn, right? As you guys know, Dreaming Town allows you to summon during your opponent's turn and go through a rotation of your tribute summons, especially with Unexplored Winds tributing off of their cards. Well, without that second Empen, it's going to basically limit you to just one tribute summon, right? Because your Empen that you end with on field right now, you're not going to have a second Empen to search or already in hand, as in this case. So you're either going to have like Advent along with the Empen so you can banish it, bring it back with Toucan, in order to get the extra tribute summon. So at most, you're only going to get one tribute summon now and no additional follow-up search off of that Empen either. So the most ideal play might likely be going for Snowl and then booking the special summoned monsters if you replace the second Empen with a Snowl. So you can see here, this opponent is going with Spright. They've used their normal summon. I tribute off their first Beaver with Empen. I continue my summoning. Without the second Empen, this is not possible, right? I end on that first summon. The opponent still has a Beaver on field. They're going to extend full combo with Spright. Now, I do have map to get my additional summon, but you can see how much more convoluted the combo becomes. Now you need multiple cards in rotation, and how do you get those multiple cards in rotation? Well, you get them with the second Empen. So if you really understand how this deck works, you understand why 2 Empens, or more than 2 Empens even, is very important, and how 1 Empen is going to severely limit the deck. Let's go on to this next match though. Alright, so in this matchup, we are able to go first, but our hand is technically bricked. We need to unbrick it with the Advent, hoping that it doesn't get negated. You know, yes, FLOOWANDEREEZE plays through so much of the meta, like you don't have to worry about Maxi, Gimmick Puppet Locks, things that deal with special summoned monsters, which is a lot of cards that people play. But you are susceptible to hand traps, right? That's the downside of FLOOWANDEREEZE. So it's kind of weird to me that Konami thought that it needs to get hit. But if you've watched my gameplay of this deck against things like Tearlaments and Bestials, which are the 2 moneymaker decks right now, FLOOWANDEREEZE just wipes the floor with them usually, because you can play around all of their effects, like all the Bestial effects, like Druis Worm outing special summoned monsters, Baldrake hitting up Links and stuff like that, Rinbrum, the new brand infusion, doing stuff to Link and Synchro monsters, etc. Extra deck monsters basically, and we don't do any of that stuff. So all of those cards, when they put them up, are useless against us. Same with the new Granum Goal, right? It's when something's summoned from the extra deck, etc. Like they all have effects that rely on people special summoning and playing decks that do that. So FLOOWANDEREEZE doesn't do that, and therefore it's an easy way to, first of all, not have to buy into those packs, and secondly, play around the people who did buy into those packs. Can you imagine spending $200 on packs and then losing to FLOOWANDEREEZE? I think I said this in my last video too. So they are killing the deck essentially, in my opinion. It's not like, I shouldn't say killing, but to me it's pretty much killing it with the loss of the second Empen, just because it kills so much of your follow-up. And that's what Floowandereeze is. It's a control deck. It's not a combo deck. It's you put up, and I love these kind of decks because they require a lot of thinking, despite what people say. Because obviously you don't put up the biggest board. You're not putting up like an Adamantipator board with like 20 negates or 7 different interruptions. I actually have a short on my channel showing how I beat an Adamantipator board with like 7 negates, which normally would be impossible unless you have Dark Ruler. That's literally, you have to literally draw the out, otherwise you lose. So I'm not saying I'm good, I'm just saying I got lucky. But yeah, Floowandereeze doesn't do that. You can see our board is very, very simple. But what we do is we have to choose our interruption times properly and understand the meta and the opponent's deck in order to play. And it's a very skillful deck for that purpose, right? Like if you make the wrong plays with your Floowandereeze deck, you're just putting yourself in a terrible position because you don't have the luxury of saying, oh, I'm going to negate like 3 different things. No, you have one Omni negate that you have to know when to summon and how to summon it and what to negate on the opponent's side in order to shut down their combo. Where is their choke point? Likewise with the Ryza, when is the right time to Ryza? What kind of things do you want to stack on top of the deck? You know, do you spin it back to hand or not? Or do you have to make the sacrifice to keep it on field in order to out some of the opponent's resources? And obviously, if you watch my channel, we also show a vast amount of going second matches, right? Because going first with Floowandereeze, I'll admit, yeah, it's kind of still a little like cookie cutter. Like I'm just going through the motions. I'm setting up my board, and then the opponent has to have something very strong to break the loop once they've used their normal summon, right? So Floowandereeze can be very, very easy to play going first, but it's going second where, you know, if you know how to pilot the deck, it really shines. And, you know, on that third turn, when you go second, you know, your opponent goes first, you go second, then they're going third now. Using the Dreaming Town to actual effect is very, very important because, again, the second Empen allows you that additional tribute summon, which is basically what the deck relies on. So killing that interruption by limiting Empen to 1, in my opinion, is really, really unfortunate. Oh, look at this opponent. Going in with the Dark Ruler, I respect it, but their big mistake is that they had to use a normal summon, which, again, what can you do when you have map up? Oh man, just like losing that second Empen just sucks. Like, you're not going to be able to search for 2 spells and traps. Like, I can't search for map and then bring a second Empen, search for trap card. Like, yeah, anyways, yeah, the setup here now is going to pop off on the opponent here. There's not much that they can do. We do have Shifter in hand, but it's like pointless because we got 2 cards in grave, and we don't even need Shifter. The opponent's on 2 cards, and we are about to put them on 1 card. And put them on, if you want your Rhino Heart back, you better be able to discard the card in your hand, which obviously is not a Tearlament, and then they kind of just scoop it up. So let's go on to the last match where I will commentate the actual gameplay and stop commentating on the ban list. Alright, in this matchup here, it's going to be a little bit of a longer one, but once again, we're going first. However, what happens when you brick your hand? We straight up just end our turn with nothing. Why? Because we don't need to activate Fissure when we have Shifter, and we want to be able to evenly match an open board. The opponent reveals that they are on stun. So by not revealing what I'm on, the opponent probably thinks, well, my deck beats 99% of the meta. The only thing it doesn't beat is other stun decks and or Floowandereeze, right? Because Floowandereeze doesn't care about special summons, and these cards stop special summoning. So it's pretty easy to keep the opponent guessing. I'm not activating anything. I'm not giving them a clue as to what I'm playing, but I'm still bricked. I draw more tribute monsters, and then I finally draw Pot of Duality on turn 5. I'm going to go ahead and use the evenly matched. They probably think that they need to keep this Fossil Dyna because they're like, oh, I'm going to stop you from special summoning. So if their face down card was like an Imperm or like a Solemn Strike or something, obviously not Solemn Judgment, otherwise they might have used it to keep 2 Fossil Dyna, but even then, like, why would you pay 4,000 life points to keep 2 of the same monster? So yeah, they just out their back row card, which is what we care about with Floowandereeze. And now we hope that the duality doesn't get ashed, because if I was in my opponent's shoes and I realized my opponent was passing on nothing, I would definitely ash this if I had the chance to, because I would keep you on nothing. So we do duality into a Robina. The opponent clearly doesn't have ash here, so we are able to go free reign, special summoning what we need, or sorry, geez, not special summoning, normal summoning what we need, and being able to out this Fossil Dyna next turn because we've already used our battle phase. So because we've drawn so many tribute monsters and searched the Empen, or whatever we searched, and there, I am going to opt to put back the Ryza. Unfortunately, the opponent is able to Feather Duster away our back row, but that's fine because the Advent that we set will banish the Empen, which will allow us to grab it back with the Toucan, which is exactly what we want. And then we can continue to set up a pretty decent board here. Not that it matters, but we just want to banish the trap so it's in the banish pile, so in case we need to bring it back with Toucan at some point. We do play 2 traps, so we can just easily search for another one. The opponent opts to crash their Fossil Dyna for good reason, because they bring out Inspector Border, and this card beats Floowandereeze, so I have to out this somehow. I can out it, assuming that this back row doesn't disrupt me, because I can activate map effect, normal summon Eaglin, no effect, activate unexplored winds, Eaglin, and then tribute off or send their Inspector Border for the tribute summon of the Apex, right? That's how I can play around it. And then I still have my normal summon for turn. I can normal summon Rabina, search another Eaglin, normal summon Eaglin, use the effect, because I didn't special summon, so it's not going to lock me out of the birds. It depends on if this back row card can stop me. Unfortunately, the opponent draws into a card of Demise, and then they're able to draw 3 free cards. So they activate Necro Valley, not too impactful against us. It does mean that we cannot banish the Empen from our graveyard with Stree, which might be a problem. We have to be very aware of that. The opponent discards a second Necro Valley, but they also set a second back row that we have to worry about now as well. We top deck Book of Moon, which is literally the best thing we could top deck. So I'm going to go ahead and activate my cards and then book the Inspector Border. Now I'm going to chain block the Eaglin, so it has, well, I mean, it's not going to get ashed anyways. But the opponent does reveal that they have the Imperm, and that's the card they drew into with Card of Demise. Nonetheless, we're going to out the second back row card and our own Eaglin for Apex Avian, and then beat over the Inspector Border, putting the opponent on 0 cards, and we're able to take that W, despite bricking.